Canadian broadcasting's greatest mystery was solved yesterday in Melbourne. Archivists were able to listen to 11 tapes not heard for 50 years because our telecom has the world's only working Blattnerphone. A dinosaur of radio, it was the forerunner to the modern tape recorder and was considered the latest in technology in the 1930s. Nick McCallum reports.
Ernie, Dick and Brian Churchill, the Indiana Joneses of sound. Their Ark of the Covenant, 11 mysterious Canadian Blattner tapes, shipped here by Ernie, the Canadian Broadcasting Commission archivist.
Okay, here we go, Brian. It's all yours.
Because Brian and his telecom colleagues boast the world's only working Blattnerphone, the first magnetic recording machine, a 1930s version of the Walkman. The tapes themselves have been sitting in a vault in Canada for 50 years. No one knows what's on them.
They might even be empty for all we know, but we're going to listen to them now and find out.
You have heard another edition of Canadian Calendar, where the events of the week as seen by London's Canadian eyes are presented and reviewed.
On the first tape, to Ernie's great relief, 1943 interviews with Canadian seamen.
The escort was all intact and had dealt some pretty heavy punches to the enemy into the bargain. Despite the reverberations all around us from depth charges and gunfire, the engine room and boiler room crews carried out their individual jobs just as though it were a peacetime power trial. And in my opinion, they deserve full marks.
It's a great excitement, and it's the type of thing that archives are all about.
In the 1930s, there were only 12 Blattnerphones made. This one was the pride of the ABC and was recently restored with some unusual mechanical help.
We found that the original motors had their day, basically, and we found some suitable washing machine motors, and we got them in and wired them up and connected it all up, and we had it working.
It'll take several days to clean, record and transcribe the 11 Canadian tapes. Ernie's dream, a bonanza. He wants to find the voice of Lorne Greene, the star of the Western series, who was Canada's newsreader during World War II.
If we found a piece of him actually reading the news, none of those exist, we'd be very excited. Maybe there's a snatch of that somewhere here.
And if that happens, Australia and Canada will be the only countries to have their relations boosted by Blattnerphone.